This is Brittany Palacastro, and today I want to talk about something that you may or may not use in your yoga practice. It's this. It's your props. So I'm a big user of props. In almost every class that I teach, this little guy here is being used, right? We put the block in between the inner upper thighs, like in every class. I'm kind of obsessed with it. I might as well say why, because it helps to create stability in the low back and opens up the pelvis. But also, sometimes it goes under the low back. Sometimes there's a heart bench. It's so good to use props. And I find it really interesting because I can kind of almost tell the confidence level of someone in one way or another based on what kind of props they use. Right? So if you think about it, there's some students, and this could be you, that have no problem using props, right? They need a prop, they use it, right? You're in triangle pose, you're like, this could help if I had a little more space. So you bring a block under your hand, and it's like, that's it, right? It's clean. But a lot of times what happens is there's some practitioners, right? They see this as a crutch, right? They see this as something that makes them like less than, right? So it's like, oh, I need more support in triangle pose. So, but if I use this, if I use a block, then that means that I can't do it as well as somebody else. And then that means I'm not as good of a practitioner that I thought I was. So I'm not gonna, use the block. That was me throwing the block. And I'm not gonna use it. I'm just gonna be in the pose like this. But I don't need it, so that's better, right? I was probably out of shot there. Okay, so I just want you to consider where you lie on that spectrum, right? Are you afraid to use props because of what it will mean in your practice? And I know some of you are probably laughing that doesn't happen. It totally does, right? I can tell. And some people just don't realize that they need one, right? And that's totally fine. But what I'll say is wherever spectrum you are, always go when you get into a studio and grab a prop if there is one available. I like 2 blocks and a blanket. That's always across the board. Whenever someone comes to my class, they bring 2 blocks and a blanket. So don't be afraid, because you never know if you'll need one. Because sometimes each day the body is different, right? So one day your body might feel really opened, and one day it might not. And if we show up every time we practice being open to what we will find, right, and not expecting things to have always progressed or things to always be a certain way, we're gonna do a lot better just in really any situation. Because if we move into something with these expectations of things need to be that, if they don't meet up to that, then oftentimes we're disappointed or we feel like a failure. Right? And just because your body isn't as open one day, does not mean that you are any less of a person. And again, it sounds weird to even have to say it, but I see it all the time. I see it happen. I see how sometimes the practice becomes either this ego booster, or it becomes it makes someone feel not good about themselves because they think they have to be a certain way. And let me tell you, right here and now, you can be any way that you are, and you can come into a class. It might not be the class for you, right? And it might be challenging, but it doesn't mean, right, that you still can't come in and try. Right? And if something isn't for you, you just try something else. Right? It's not always about you not being right for it. Maybe it's just not right for you. Right? So there's a lot of messages in that. There's this multifaceted talk today. So just consider that when you go into your next yoga class and your teacher maybe says, oh, if you need extra help, use a prop, and notice where your mind goes. Right? Notice if you're I don't need that. Or if you're oh, I need it. Or if you're word, okay, I'll use it. Right? It's just something to consider. So I hope you have a great day, and I hope the next time you get on your mat, it is awesome. I'll see you soon. Bye. Nice.
sound all the time.
No, you make the sound.
And you hate it.
Ah. That's the sound you make. That's more like Robert Goulet.